Part 8. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Chingjomi Se. Chapter 71. Sumian spoke quietly, but her hands did not stop moving, processing the ingredients and putting them into the pot, very skillfully. Chen Shen quietly turned off the camera in the kitchen, and then stood next to Sumian, listening quietly. Did you go to the coastal city later? Chen Shen asked. Sumian nodded. I went there and lived at my aunt's house. I was in Shanghai for the whole first grade. My uncle is from Shanghai. It was when I was at my aunt's house that I saw the sea and realized that ships could be so big. But I didn't learn piano and dancing. I didn't like these things. What about your parents? They seem to have gone to Yanjing at that time. Chen Shen nodded, didn't ask, and changed the subject. It smells so good. Sumian looked at Chen Shen and smiled shyly. Do you like shrimp? Chen Shen nodded, yes. I like it too, but I don't like it too spicy. Then is there anything you don't like to eat? Sumian thought for a while. Yes, I don't like celery, cauliflower, carrots, and that houtunia cordata. Then why do you have cauliflower in your refrigerator? Sumian said helplessly, my mother bought it for me. She said it's good to eat it occasionally. Chen Shen hummed. 2 people, 4 dishes, and 1 soup, this is the result after Chen Shen sealed Sumian's refrigerator. According to her attitude, there must be at least 6 or 7 dishes. When Chen Shen served the dishes, Sumian started to clean the kitchen. When Chen Shen served the dishes, the kitchen was completely new, not like it had just been cooked. When Sumian came over, she saw Chen Shen taking pictures of the dishes with his mobile phone, and a smile appeared on his face. Chen Shen no longer felt any pressure when facing Sumian. Because he found that the way they got along was the way of friends. Many details did not need to be avoided at all. For example, wearing an apron, Sumian knew it herself. They talked about everything, both emotionally and rationally, without any of the tricks of love. Chen Shen felt that Sumian should feel the same way. Did I say anything wrong today? Sumian suddenly asked at the dinner table. Chen Shen shook his head, who cares? What's your impression of them? Sumian thought for a moment, they seem pretty silly. Puff. Did I say something wrong? You're right. I haven't been that silly for a long time. But I like playing with them. It doesn't seem to get boring. It's lively. Chen Shen nodded, maybe because you're here. Sumian glared, why? People come to the fore. Suddenly there's an unfamiliar person. They want to perform. Sumian shook his head, it should be because of you. Their desire to perform is also for you. Sumian lowered his voice as if he suddenly thought of something, I like playing with you, too. Chen Shen paused for a moment, not panicking. He had to be calmer at such moments. I like playing with you, too. Sumian bit her chopsticks gently, her eyes sparkling, really? Yeah, it's like being with a very good friend, so you don't have to think about those empty things. Sumian's face suddenly flushed, do you have any very good friends? Besides me? Chen Shen was stunned, not because he didn't know how to answer, but because he felt it was too smooth. It seemed that he easily transitioned to the identity of a friend, and shook his head and said, really not. Sumian hummed twice, then began to eat with her head down. Sumian felt that she felt the same as Chen Shen, and when she was with Chen Shen, she didn't have to think about those empty things. It didn't matter if she said the wrong thing. For him, those exchanges that she used to think were not good feedback seemed to be nothing. The most important thing was that sentence, he also likes to play with me. This kind of response is very important to Sumian. Sister Mo said that the feeling of being good friends at the beginning of a relationship. At this moment, Sumian was actually a little panicked, and she even thought that it would be better to stay like this for a while, because it seemed that it was easy to have conflicts and break up when in a relationship. What she was worried about was what if one day her best friend became her boyfriend and Chen Shen stopped playing with her. If it was Chen Shen, Sumian thought it would be best to keep the one that lasted longer. Chen Shen was very full. Not to mention the 4 dishes, the soup, ham, and bamboo shoot soup, had a strong flavor mixed with a hint of sweetness and bitterness of bamboo shoots, which made the layers full. After eating, she leaned back on the chair and felt that the world was like this. Sumian got up and started to clean up. Chen Shen sat for a while, his face was a little hot, and he got up. "You go to the living room to play, I'll be there in a while," Sumian said softly. "Not good." "What's not good?" Sumian was puzzled and looked back at the kitchen. It seemed that she realized that Chen Shen wanted to help her wash the dishes. These things were very simple and could be done by one person and it would be done quickly. Chen Shen shook his head. "It's okay, then I'll wait for you in the living room." "Yeah, I'll be there soon." Although it was lunch, it was almost 4 o'clock after eating. "I was so engrossed in playing games that I had no sense of time." In front of the huge French window, the most prosperous buildings in Yuzhou were in full view. There was a sound behind me, and Sumian got a leather recliner from somewhere, with a light pink blanket on it. "This is on the balcony of my bedroom. If you are sleepy, you can take a nap." After saying that, Sumian trotted into the kitchen again. It was probably because she suddenly remembered it. Chen Shen leaned back in his chair and for a moment thought, what kind of love show is this? Then he sighed. Life is like this. Once you make a choice, you have to go all the way. In the kitchen, Sumian felt the phone in his pocket vibrate a few times. After wiping his hands, he took out the phone. WeChat message, with the note that it was sent by Lao Su's people. "I'm free tonight, let's have dinner together." Sumian didn't think twice and typed back, "No time." "Are you guys not done yet?" "I finally have some time, you really don't want to have dinner with me?" "No." "Well, okay, your dad can eat alone, you guys are busy. By the way, when we met at the company yesterday, you asked me why Xiaoqing I went to the dating variety show. I actually asked around. She seems to be releasing a new album. The variety show you recorded is a springboard to increase her popularity. You should pay attention to it." "Okay." "And that Chen Shen, he was also a trainee of an entertainment company. I guess he is also aiming for his debut. You should pay attention to it too. Didn't you say that Chen Shen's family makes hot pot?" "That Chen hot pot? Didn't Sister Mo come to Yuzhou for this matter?" "Yes, but Chen hot pot is probably finished. With such a big thing happening at home, he still has the mind to rush into the entertainment industry. You can figure it out yourself." Sumian walked a few steps to the side and saw Chen Shen leaning on the chair, who seemed to have fallen asleep. Sumian suddenly sighed. With so many things to do, he could still play with her so devotedly. It must be very tiring. She did know yesterday that Chen Shen was Chen Ruxi's son. When eating lunch yesterday, Lao Su suddenly found her and talked about the things in the show. But Sumian had a different perspective on this matter. She remembered that she asked Chen Shen that day, asking him if he came here to fall in love. His answer was hard to say. If he lied to her, he would not answer like this, or face those filming machines and radio equipment. Then the other thing is easy to understand. Chen Shen has been in contact with Sister Mo. Isn't it for the family business? Would Chen Shen lie to Sister Mo? Sumian actually thought about it. If he lied, he would not let Sister Mo drive him home. And Sister Mo is so smart, she is willing to help Chen Shen, which shows that Chen Shen is really a good person. Going back further, when the male guests were introduced at the beginning, they wanted to write how excellent they were on their faces, but Chen Shen was the most low-key and down-to-earth, saying that he was doing snack promotion. This is the same as himself. Sumian also only said that he was a programmer. Compared with Lao Tzu's unreliable inference, Sumian believed in his own feelings more. If he didn't even understand his own daughter, how could he understand someone he had never met? Sumian looked at Chen Shen with more distress in his eyes, and typed back, "Lao Tzu, you don't understand him. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me?" Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 72. Chen Shen woke up in a daze. The surroundings were very quiet. The lights were warm. He could only see the light, but could not see the source of light. It was not dazzling and very comfortable. He looked around instinctively. If it were normal, he would probably feel a sense of confusion when he woke up. Like a fish that suddenly jumped out of the water, the underwater world seemed to be isolated from him, and he would feel a sense of loneliness as a bystander. His eyes stayed on the opposite side. The delicate person was leaning on another recliner, holding a tablet computer, and his white hands were swiping something. The light of the tablet computer was brighter than the light in the room, reflecting on the girl's face. Even at this squinting angle, he could feel the beauty of that face. Looking closer, the legs were crossed, and the pair of small feet seemed to have their own thoughts, with the toes moving around against the socks. It might be a conditioned reflex. Chen Shen also raised his feet, and the thumb and the second toe seemed to be able to cross and move. Ah! Sumian made a sound, as if a little annoyed, and then immediately reached out to cover his mouth. Looking away, she saw Chen Shen, who had already opened his eyes. Her pupils slightly dilated, and then her face blossomed like a flower in early spring. "Did I wake you up?" Chen Shen smiled and shook his head, but did not speak. The water seemed to be rippling, and the fish was reluctant to return to the underwater world. Sumian stood up, jumped off the chair, and then pushed the chair next to Chen Shen, the kind that was next to Chen Shen. "What game?" Sumian bit her lip, and instinctively felt embarrassed about being caught, and then she remembered that this was Chen Shen, not her mother, and laughed. "A small game, 6 people each choose a room, and after lying down, you will get gold coins, but a ghost is coming to kill us." Chen Shen took the tablet computer. "You can go into any room." "Yes, hurry up, once he goes in, you can't lie down. Then wait for the ghost to find you." "Yes, how do you know you need to upgrade?" "No big deal." "Hee, as smart as me." "Well, why doesn't it follow the rules of martial arts and break my door, and can just come in directly? This level is not easy to pass. You have to kill it before it activates its skills, otherwise it will pass through the wall." Chen Shen returned the notebook to Sumian. "I think the free-for-all is more fun." Sumian thought about it and shook his head. "If you play alone, it's actually about the same." Chen Shen nodded. "It seems so." "Why is free-for-all more fun than ranked?" "Because there is a Chen Wenwen who feeds heads into her mouth." Several times, the opponent thought she was a girl and scolded Chen Wenwen for bringing a girl. Chen Shen didn't explain. After learning to show the card, most of the defenses were broken by the opponent. After Chen Shen woke up, Sumian stopped playing games, leaned back in the chair, and looked at Chen Shen from time to time. Then she pouted and looked out the window. The phone on the chair vibrated. Sumian picked it up. It was a message from her mother. "Why did you block your dad?" Sumian leaned sideways and typed a reply. "He urged me and said he would come to my house." "It's you." "I can't be angry with him now." "Mom, ask him to be more mature." "What's there to be angry about?" "I won't go to his house." "He asked me to bring you a message." "He will touch Chen Shen sooner or later." The original words. "Thank you, Mom. I won't interfere with you in other matters, but you must remember one sentence. Any emotion is mutual. This is the foundation, and then you have to look at the long term and the details." "Yeah, I know, It's like two people building a house. I put a brick and he has to put a brick. Is the variety show more interesting than your game? Sumian looked back at Chen Shen, and then replied, the time is a bit short. Chen Shen got up, he felt that it was about right. Any family would mind staying in a girl's house until the evening. If this was his daughter, Chen Shen felt that he would definitely kill her. After looking around, Chen Shen felt that he was lucky enough to enjoy these things. Having lived 2 lives, he knew what kind of person he was, a careerist. He wanted to say let's go back, but swallowed the words back. He couldn't tell whether he wanted to stay here or to make Sumian's family feel worse about him. So he changed the subject, let's take the dishes we didn't finish in the afternoon back as a midnight snack. Sumian stood up, how about eating before going back? Chen Shen touched his stomach and looked at Sumian. Sumian also touched her stomach and didn't seem to be hungry. Let's take it with us. We'll eat it later. Okay. In the kitchen, Chen Shen took the packed vegetables and Sumian took the bag to pack the fruits in the refrigerator. Do you like durian? Sumian turned around. Chen Shen shook his head and said, don't take it, that's enough. Sumian hesitated and stuffed a few more apples into his mouth, eat it in the morning. My mother said that eating apples in the morning is good. Downstairs, the low-key black business car has stopped at the elevator door. Uncle Lou glanced at the elevator from time to time. He said he was leaving half an hour ago, so why hasn't he come down yet? Old Lou, are you leaving? Uncle Liu's phone vibrated again. Mr. Su, not yet, it should be soon. Why don't you go up and take a look? Not good, don't worry, Mr. Su, there is filming, you will see it later, don't you know my Enmian's personality? Letting her go out to play is embarrassing for her. The elevator door finally opened, and Uncle Lou saw a familiar figure and immediately replied, here we come. Opening the car door, Chen Shen and Sumian got in. Uncle Liu's eyes twitched several times. He came empty-handed, and left with food and food. At 7:30, Xia King Ai came back. Standing at the door, the fatigue on his face slowly disappeared. Then he pushed the door open and went in. Although the new album is a mini-album, it also has 5 songs. 3 of them have dances. I recorded songs in the morning and practiced dancing in the afternoon. I have no free time at all. After returning from Penguin, the company has been letting me settle down and study, and I haven't created much profit for the company. The invisible pressure seems to have brought Xia King Ai back to the days of the girl group audition. This is a good thing. The company is good to me, and the boss has almost no pressure, but it can't stand other people's gossip. It is equipped with a full-level team in the company, but it has not yet produced results. However, back in this house, he had to get back in shape. Facing the camera, Xia King Ai did not allow himself to be in a bad state. King Ai is back, let's eat right away. In the kitchen, Zhou Gaikan saw Xia King Ai for the first time and immediately shouted loudly, then glanced at Fang Ye. Fang Ye greeted with a smile, his expression unchanged. Xia King Ai smiled and said, it's so lively. There were a lot of people in the kitchen, and the smell was fragrant. Zhou Wenbei finally took charge of the kitchen. Seeing Xia King Ai come back, everyone started to clear the table and eat. Zhou Wenbei made a lot of effort and cooked 7 dishes. You eat first, I'll make some green vegetables to relieve the greasiness. Su Yuan interrupted, okay, 7 dishes, just this plate of spicy chicken can be equivalent to 2 dishes at ordinary times, there are 6 of us, and we can't finish it 100%. Su Mo continued, don't do it, just wash it and serve it like this, and eat it with meat. Zhou Wenbei nodded, washed the lettuce one by one, and then served it up. He originally wanted to make an oyster sauce lettuce. For him, this meal was a little late. Since it was done, it should be done well. Putting aside the factors of love, these people are all excellent people and get along well. For Zhou Wenbei, he is still a student after all, and if it doesn't work out, just learn something. As long as I am still learning, I am making progress, and it doesn't matter if I know the answer later. During the day, Zhou Wenbei asked Zhou Gaikan, "Is there still hope?" Zhou Gaikan didn't seem to hear it and didn't answer Zhou Wenbei's question. Post first and then modify, and it will be on the shelves next Monday. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 73. Zhou Wenbei straightened his body, then looked at everyone and raised his glass. "Thank you everyone, I'm happy to meet you all." Everyone raised their glasses. "Thank you, chef today. The cooking is pretty good, I feel it's comparable to Mian. Zhou Gaikan smiled and said, "I'm also very happy to meet you all. My good brother is really good at cooking." Saying this at this time, Zhou Gaikan felt that he was speaking from his heart, because Chen Shen was not here, and he looked at Fang Ye provocatively, as if to say, "My good brother is more reliable than your good brother." Fang really frightened them at first. They thought Fang also went on a date with Xia Qing'ai, but Fang came back at noon. Fang Ye's expression remained unchanged, and his words were full of confidence. "It's a pity that my good brother didn't enjoy Xiaobai's craftsmanship." Zhou Gaikan was stunned for a moment, still pretending? "Xia Qing'ai came back so late, and you didn't even communicate, so you started acting, right?" Fang Ye took a sip of wine gracefully, with a smile on his face and a hum in his heart. He had never seen anything like this before. "Men, you have to be calm, be able to pretend, and be decent no matter what you face. Sadness can only be seen by yourself." Fang didn't know why Xia Qing'ai wanted to find Chen Shen, but he felt that in order to maintain his dignity, he had to make the girl feel worthy and trustworthy. Although there are no big dates in the future, there is still an opportunity for a flash date. If you really want to fight for it, you can go beyond the rules of the program group and hit the ball straight, once for each person. But before that, Fang also wanted to know why. Zhou Wenbei smiled, "I can do it at any time if I have the chance." Zhou Wenbei said this while looking at Su Yuan. At this moment, Zhou Wenbei seemed to get Fang Ye's respectability from a distance. "Men, be classy. What are you talking about? Chen Shen doesn't like spicy food." Su Yuan frowned. In one sentence, the two of them succeeded. "The table is full of authentic Yuzhou dishes. Why do you think Sister Mo wants green vegetables?" Zhou Gaikan burst out laughing and breathed a sigh of relief. "There are so many clowns in this world. Brother Ye, eat some lettuce and green food to reduce the heat." Zhou Gaikan served Fang Ye some vegetables. Fang also smiled, "You eat too. You are more angry than me. I went to the bathroom in the afternoon and it took me about half an hour to come out." Zhou Gaikan frowned. Xia Qing burst out laughing, picked up a piece of lettuce, wrapped the meat and ate it. "It's spicy, but very enjoyable." The atmosphere slowly eased. When the lights of the black business car appeared at the door of the villa, the people in the villa were already doing their own things. Chen Shen and Su Mian entered the kitchen carrying large and small bags. While putting it in the refrigerator, Chen Shen said to Su Mian, "You take your pick and bring some to Sister Mo." Su Mian nodded, took a box of cherries, thought for a while, and took a box of durians. "Then I'm going upstairs." "Good. There are a lot of leftovers in the refrigerator, and you can tell that you had a good meal tonight." Chen Shen put some things that were not easy to break outside. As if there was a tacit understanding, there was not a single girl on the entire first floor, either inside or outside. On the other hand, Zhou Wenbei was blowing air on the glass walkway. Chen Shen sat on the terrace, enjoying this moment of relaxation. I have a big job tomorrow, a date with Xiaoqing Ai. Hearing the sound, Zhong Wenbei came over. Chen Shen looked over and invited, sit down. Zhong Wenbei sat next to Chen Shen. He was confused, or emo. A few days ago I thought that if you do more and exert yourself more, someone will definitely see your own advantages. Isn't it said that the harder you work, the luckier you will be? After today's meal, everyone's favorite points seem to have been fixed. Is there still hope? The words Zhou Gaikan didn't answer became clearer and clearer in his heart. The stars are not as beautiful as last night, Chen Shen muttered. Zhong Wenbei followed Chen Shen's words and leaned on his chair to look at the sky, but he couldn't even remember what the stars looked like yesterday. Some people may not have answers to some questions. Zhong Wenbei felt that he could try to put aside some of his prejudices and ask the person who stood out in this environment. Brother Shen, do you think I'm good? Chen Shen smiled and said, do you think you are bad? Zhong Wenbei hesitated for a moment, should it be okay? Then do you think there are many excellent people in this world? Zhong Wenbei nodded this time, more. Do you think you are the best in your field? Zhong Wenbei hesitated again and sighed, it's definitely no problem to learn something, but the society is changing too fast now. Several of my senior brothers were laid off at the beginning of this year. Chen Shen looked at Zhong Wenbei, is this what you want to ask me? Zhong Wenbei immediately shook his head, no. Chen Shen came closer and whispered, even though you came late, you were not in the right place at the right time, and you were still the man who put the most pressure on me. Zhong Wenbei was stunned for a moment, then looked at Chen Shen and glared, really? Chen Shen nodded. For some reason, Zhong Wenbei looked at Chen Shen and suddenly became much more pleased with him. Zhong Wenbei came closer, Brother Shen, don't lie to me. Brother Ken and Brother Ye are so outstanding and handsome. They are still the best in each field. Chen Shen looked like he didn't want to talk to Zhong Wenbei, be humble with me, right? Being able to come here, in the eyes of the program team, everyone is pretty much the same in their respective fields. Zhong Wenbei chuckled, Brother Shen, I think we didn't communicate enough before, and I didn't know you well enough. When the mind changes, the world becomes wider, and Brother Shen speaks so nicely. If you think about it carefully, Brother Ken must be excellent, but this program brings together a group of excellent people. Just like what Brother Shen asked himself just now, are there many excellent people in this world? Of course there are many. Compared to Brother Ken, people like Sister Mo are ridiculously excellent. But such excellent people are still willing to play with Brother Shen. Zhong Wenbei sighed, small, the old me was small. Emotions really make people become small. Chen Shen smiled and said, just communicate more in the future. Zhong Wenbei hummed, and sure enough, excellent people are not stingy people. The relationship has become closer, and the heart is more transparent, but there are still questions in the heart. Then why can Brother Shen get close to so many girls? Can I ask this question? Zhong Wenbei glanced at Chen Shen, hesitated, and then mustered up the courage to ask, Brother Shen, can I ask you another question? You ask. Just like you said, there are so many excellent people, how can you stand out? Zhong Wenbei felt that there should be no answer to this question, but he asked it when the words came to his lips. From childhood to upgrade and fight monsters, in the end it is nothing more than looking at their respective upper limits. Chen Shen moved closer. He knew that Zhong Wenbei didn't want to hear the answer about life and career, so he replied, there are so many excellent people, but so few charming people. Zhong Wenbei was stunned. There are so many excellent people, but so few charming people. So, it's not that I'm not good enough, but that I'm not charming enough? The confusion in my head was suddenly swept away, and the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Zhong Wenbei couldn't help but hold Chen Shen's hand, Brother Shen, listening to your words is better than reading 10 years of books. In Zhong Wenbei's view, he is a competitor, and Brother Shen is willing to give him such guidance, and it is very insightful. This friend is worth making friends with. Chen Shen smiled and let Zhong Wenbei hold his arm. He had been through this as well, and had dealt with many top students before. Some top students are more stubborn, and what they are obsessed with is often not the answer, but the sense of accomplishment of passing one level after another. They couldn't figure out a problem, but suddenly figured it out. Even if it wasn't the answer, it would make them happy for a long time. Besides, there are too many truths in life. Knowing and doing are two different things. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 74. Upstairs, Zhou Gaikan stood at Fang Ye's bedroom door, knocking on the door. There was a noise from inside, and the door was soon pushed open, but Fang Ye's smile froze on his face. Is it you? Why are you looking for me? Zhou Gaikan smiled, stretched out his hand and handed a box of tea to Fang Ye. Brother Ye, Long Jing, someone gave me a good tea. I saw that you like drinking tea, so I got a box for you. After dinner, Zhou Gaikan thought about it and felt that there was no need to be so stiff with Fang. To some extent, they are both victims. Looking forward, if Chen Shen still goes too far, then he will use entertainment industry methods. If Fang Ye is on his side, it is the last word if there are many people, and he is not afraid of tearing him apart. Fang Ye looked at the green box, but what he was thinking about was the lettuce Zhou Gaikan gave him at night. At this time, Kaname Fang also wondered why Zhou Gaikan was looking for him. It's nothing more than making myself sick again. Boom. The door is closed. Zhou Gaikan was stunned on the spot. No, my brothers have lowered their shame and asked for peace. Why are you still like this? No pattern at all? Back in the bedroom, Zhou Gaikan became angrier as he thought about it. You don't know what's good and what's good, you are really miserable. At first, you got close to Sister Mo, but then Sister Mo turned towards Chen Shen. Later, he and Xia King I got close, and Xia King I also went to find Chen Shen. But am I not miserable? At first I was thinking about saving my life and getting some sleep. Can't we put aside our prejudices and become friends? The bedroom door was pushed open, and Zhong Wenbei came back, humming a song and looking in a good mood. Zhou Gaikan frowned and threw the box of Longjing to Zhong Wenbei. Xiaobai, let's drink it for you. Zhong Wenbei caught it and said with a smile, thank you, Brother Ken. What's wrong with you? You look sad. Zhou Gaikan waved his hand, don't mention it, I brought tea to your brother Ye, but he didn't want it. Zhong Wenbei was stunned, no way, Brother Ye is quite nice. Zhou Gaikan stood up and started looking for pajamas. He thought forget it, some people deserve to suffer, and they had to respect the fate of others. Just like Fang, he had to count the money after being sold. Forget it, Dao Buletin is not colluding with each other, let him play with Chen Shen, he will be played to death without even knowing it. Zhong Wenbei frowned and asked, what does it have to do with Brother Shen? Brother Shen is pretty good too. Zhong Wenbei felt that just like in school, it was normal for an outstanding girl to be liked by several people. You couldn't look down on that person's boyfriend when they had one. Unknowingly, Zhong Wenbei's mentality was changing. Zhong Wenbei thought for a while and asked, Brother Ken, do you think everyone in the villa is excellent? Zhou Gaikan was about to enter the bathroom when he instinctively replied, excellent. After saying that, he stopped again and looked back. However, things like relationships often depend on feelings and have nothing to do with excellence. Many people who are not excellent can also become winners in relationships. This world does not mean that excellence will lead to good things. The result of. If it were before, Zhong Wenbei felt that Brother Kan's words must be reasonable. What now? Zhong Wenbei felt a little limited. If they are all excellent, and one of them can attract many excellent people, then he must be at a higher level than excellence, not the feeling and lack of excellence that Brother Chan said. But Zhong Wenbei didn't want to refute. He felt that he and Brother Kin had cognitive differences, but they were friends. The longer we stay together, the more we see and the deeper our understanding becomes. Is Brother Chan excellent? Definitely excellent, but not charming. Not wanting to refute, but some things were fundamental cognitive issues, Zhong Wenbei muttered in a low voice, I think Brother Ye is pretty good, and Brother Shen is pretty good too. Zhou Gaikan, who had just entered the bathroom, was stiff for a few seconds, and then closed the bathroom door with a bang. Take off your clothes, turn on the shower head, and let the hot water wash over your body. After a long time, Zhou Gaikan said to himself, Xiaobai, he has changed. Zhou Gaikan let out a long sigh, why? Before Brother Ye came over, Xiaobai started to speak for Chen Shen. Why did this world suddenly become so strange? Chen Shen sat outside alone for a long time without thinking about anything, so he sat quietly and watched the stars. Moments like this are rare for Chen Shen. After coming to this world, my mind has been racing. After feeling the chill, he got up and entered the house. Xia King I walked over from the kitchen, holding a plate of oranges in his hand. Here you go, this one is for you. Chen Shen took it and said, thank you, how will you arrange for me tomorrow? A smile appeared on Xia Qing's face. This sentence was the last word, and only then could he truly confirm tomorrow's date. How else can I arrange it to experience my daily life? Then I know what's going on. Good night. Good night. After walking upstairs, Chen Shen returned to the bedroom. As soon as he opened the door, he saw Fang Ye standing in front of the window, wondering what he was thinking. Their bedroom did not have a balcony, and the bedroom with a balcony was given to the female guests. Fang also turned around and saw Chen Shen, with a smile still on his face, come back so late. Chen Shen nodded, have you finished washing up? Fang also came over, how was it? Where have you been? Did you have fun? Going to Mianmian's house, happy. Did you go to Mianmian's house? Well, there are some fruits in the refrigerator. I got them from Mian. If you want to eat them, go and get them. This too. Fang Ye pointed at the plate of oranges that Chen Shen was holding and said. Chen Shen shook his head, this is not it, this is given by King Ai. Fang Ye's smile froze on his face and he stopped talking. Chen Shen shrugged, put the oranges on the table, and then went into the bathroom with his pajamas. Chen Shen thought about whether to find an angle to make him sober up, or find a routine to appease him. But this matter is comprehensive and multi-angle. If Xia King Ai is just playing a trick on himself, or thinks he can handle himself. But Fang Ye must be one of her backroads. Cutting off her back road is equivalent to overturning her table. But not only did she not overturn your table, she also took the initiative to come over and stack armor for you. Let you deal with 3 female guests while she also joins in. This is a powerful assist for any man who is developing in the entertainment industry. It's a simple truth. The more outrageous, the greater the heat. Of course, this heat is also beneficial to her. It's just that Chen Shen is not used to doing things to the extreme. In the long run, it may not be a bad thing for Brother Ye. When Chen Shen came out, Fang Ye was already lying on the bed. Chen Shen sat at the table and started writing a letter, but the plate of oranges was still untouched. There was a sound of turning over behind him, and Fang Ye's voice followed closely, you have already had a sleep. Chen Shen stopped moving his hands, and then sighed faintly. Whether it is a man or a woman, how can you play tricks with others when you meet this kind of person? Chen Shen turned around, Brother Ye, I ask you a question. Fang Ye sat up, you ask. If King Ai comes to you later, are you willing to leave the show with her? Don't rush to answer me. Fang Ye frowned and simply understood that Chen Shen meant that King Ai would not date him, but if she came to him later, would he be willing to end the recording with her as a couple? Fang Ye felt that no matter how he understood it, he was willing. In reality, how could he meet a girl like Xia King Ai? No matter what other people think, no matter how they think the entertainment industry is bad, Fang thinks Xia King Ai is good. When Xia King Ai was auditioning, Fang had just finished his studies. At that time, he watched Xia King Ai debut. The girl who could sleep in the practice room left a deep impression on him. She is indeed a person standing in the spotlight in the entertainment industry. If it is true, it is a pie in the sky. Even if it is false, it is a bubble. There must be a bubble of your own, right? Or let me put it another way. Do you want to leave this show with her in the end? After saying this, Chen Shen turned around and continued to write the letter. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 75. Chen Shen still overturned the table that Xia King Ai had left at Fang Ye's place. Whether it was overturned or not depends on Fang Ye himself. Chen Shen felt that Fang Ye must have heard the hidden meaning in his words. People who work in a bank, even if they are in love, should have understood it. Fang Ye leaned on the bed, looking at Chen Shen's back, thinking for a long time. He was still in a daze until Chen Shen left. Chen Shen knocked on the door of Su Mo and the others. It was Su Mian who opened the door, who had changed into pajamas. Her hair was loose and wet, and her delicate face looked pink and tender. Have you brushed your teeth? Chen Shen asked. Su Mian smiled and took the plate of oranges from Chen Shen's hand. Just brush them again, good night. Good night. Chen Shen felt that this was not a routine, he really didn't want to eat, and then he washed up again. If Mian and the others didn't want to eat, they would send it back to Xia King Ai. If Xia King Ai and the others didn't want to eat, they could give it to Zhou Gaikan and the others. After throwing the letter out, he returned to the bedroom. Still thinking about it, sleep now, Chen Shen smiled. Fang Ye said, oh, and when he saw Chen Shen lying on the bed, he also lay down. After turning off the lights, Chen Shen closed his eyes, and Fang Ye's voice rang again, I've figured it out. For the first question, I'm willing to do it, and for the second question, I don't want to do it. Chen Shen sighed, since I've figured it out, let's go to sleep. Shen Shen, I treat you as a friend, and I believe you must also treat me as a friend, otherwise you wouldn't tell me these things. I know you are very smart, otherwise your sister Emma wouldn't take you to play. She said she figured it out, but in fact she didn't want to think about it anymore, but I hope you don't hurt her. The night covered Chen Shen's white eyes, if she doesn't hurt me, I'll burn incense. The weekend was another foggy day. Su Moli I couldn't help skipping rope. Chen Shen didn't have to go to work, so he continued to run. At 6:30, Chen Shen changed from running to walking, and then went into the house. Skipping rope is indeed better than running. It is not picky about weather or occasion. It is an aerobic exercise that can be done anytime and anywhere. In the kitchen, Su Mo waved at Chen Shen when she saw him coming in. Do you put the noodles in after the water is boiled or put them in directly? Let me do it. Su Mo made way and watched Chen Shen operate. Whose turn is it today? Chen Shen chuckled at Su Mo's strange tone. As the show progressed, Su Mo understood more and more. Sometimes Su Mo wanted to laugh herself. She really wanted to change a circle and meet men from other circles. I have heard for a long time that variety shows are watery, and it really happened to me. When Xia Qing appeared, Su Mo had some guesses. However, these things are not strange to Su Mo, so she just regarded them as her own experience. Of course, it is not without gain. Chen Shen is a surprise. Although the love issue was not resolved, Chen Shen promoted the progress of his career. It is amazing. It doesn't matter if it belongs to anyone or not. You're taking advantage of me. When picking noodles, Zhong Wenbei came in and saw Chen Shen, his eyes lit up. Good morning, brother Shen, good morning, sister Mo. Morning. Chen Shen smiled and said, do you want to eat noodles? Zhong Wenbei walked over, can I? There are exactly 2 bowls, you eat first, I'll cook another bowl myself. Zhong Wenbei rubbed his hands, I'll serve it, thank you, brother Shen. Su Mo looked at Zhong Wenbei several times. What's wrong with Xiaobai? Is he so excited? For a man like Chen Shen, is there any man willing to play with him in this villa? Chen Shen took out another portion of noodles from the refrigerator. If you think it's not tasty enough, there were a lot of leftovers yesterday, you can use it as a sauce. After that, Chen Shen walked towards the pot and saw Zhong Wenbei. He held the bowl and leaned on the island. What? Not enough fried sauce? If not, add it yourself. Zhong Wenbei walked around and came to Chen Shen, leaning close to whisper, Sister Mo's aura is too strong. Sitting alone with her, I feel like I'm sitting with my mentor. I'm not very comfortable. Chen Shen laughed and ignored him. Brother Shen, do you get up so early every day? Yeah. Then your workplace must be far away. Not far, just over at Yuhan Square. Then you got up a little too early. Sister Mo is the same. Zhong Wenbei looked at Su Mo and nodded, that's right. Brother Shen, I heard from Brother Ken that you are doing snack promotion. Is it your own company? Chen Shen shook his head, no. Does your company start work very early? 9 o'clock is considered a normal time. Then you are too aggressive. Zhong Wenbei shook his head and sighed, no wonder. He has been thinking about what happened yesterday. Why is Brother Shen so attractive to girls? Is there something about him that he hasn't noticed? With these thoughts, the more I get to know him, the more I feel that Brother Shen is really excellent. His job may seem insignificant, but he goes to work very early every day. This attitude is worth learning from. Even if he is resting, he has to get up early, earlier than me. Maybe there are other advantages that I don't know about, but these simple aspects of life have already surpassed many people. Chen Shen's noodles are cooked, and he touches Zhong Wenbei, Xiaobai, bring this plate of braised beef over. Zhong Wenbei nodded, and the two went to the dining table one after the other. Zhong Wenbei thought about it and put the braised beef in front of Su Mo. Su Mo looked at Zhong Wenbei and smiled slightly, thank you. Zhong Wenbei immediately shook his head, it's okay, Brother Shen asked me to bring it over. Su Mo glanced at Chen Shen, then why do you listen to him? Let him handle it himself. Zhong Wenbei smiled shyly, it's all trivial matters. Chen Shen said while eating the noodles, there are the leftover dishes you guys left yesterday in the refrigerator, as well as those that Mian and I brought over together. Let's heat them up and eat them at noon, otherwise I'm afraid they'll spoil. Mian's craftsmanship is amazing. Originally, I don't want to take it. I go to someone's house empty-handed and I still need to take something with me when I leave. What do people think of me? But I can't help Mian thinking about you and her sister Mo. I insist on bringing her with me, and the refrigerator is almost empty. There was a smile on Su Mo's face. Mian still feels sorry for her. You have the nerve to say that you won't even prepare any gifts when you go to her house. I won't let you down. Chen Shen smiled and said, I didn't think so much. I didn't realize until I got there that you thought I was you. Su Mo rolled her eyes, but stopped choking Chen Shen. She kept smiling, picked up a piece of beef with soy sauce, and pushed the beef in front of Zhong Wenbei and Chen Shen. I have both carbohydrates and meat in the morning, and it's all because of you, Brother Shen, damn it, Xiaobai, just eat it. Zhou Wenbei answered instinctively, most of us in Yuzhou eat like this. Sister Mo, don't worry, you exercise every day. It's easy to say anything if you don't put on weight. If you don't put on weight, it's his fault. After Su Mo finished speaking, he glanced at Chen Shen. Chen Shen knew that Su Mo was not happy with him. She was a respectable person, and she insisted on dating him in the drama. The key was that he was not the only one dating her. What do you think of her circle of friends after this broadcast? This was a great favor, and Chen Shen remembered it in his heart. Zhou Wenbei didn't think much about it at first. After chatting with them for a while, he suddenly realized something. So, when Brother Shen asked me to bring this plate of soy sauce beef, didn't he just let me work casually? Instead, he subtly integrated himself into their conversation. Otherwise, why would Sister Mo take the initiative to talk to me? When Zhou Wenbei came here, he took the initiative to contact the other 3 female guests. It was not that he liked them very much, but he thought they might all have a chance. Only when facing Su Mo, he didn't dare to take the initiative and spoke cautiously. How could it be like today, where we can still chat and interact with each other? Zhou Wenbei sighed, is this Brother Shen? No wonder it can be said that there are so many good people and so few charming people. Fortunately, I turned back, otherwise I would have missed a particularly good friend. Prejudice is terrible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 76. It was 8 o'clock sharp when Xiaoqing came downstairs. From the kitchen to the backyard, he looked at Zhou Wenbei, who was sitting on the terrace basking in the sun. Where is Chen Shen? Zhou Wenbei opened his eyes and saw that it was Xiaoqing. He quickly sat up. He was originally leaning on the recliner. Brother Shen is out. Xiaoqing yelled, and then ran out the door quickly. Looking at Xiaoqing's back, Zhou Wenbei didn't look away for a long time. Xiaoqing wore a short coat today, which made her look particularly well proportioned and energetic. It seems that I still have a lot to learn. Chen Shen received Xiaoqing's text message in a taxi. Does my company know about it? Let's meet in front of the company. No. Chen Shen probably guessed the location of this date. Although Xiaoqing has rarely appeared in the past year, he was the top of the goose factory in the past few years, so it was very inconvenient to be outside. The city of Yuzhou is surrounded by mountains and rivers. Needless to say, mountains, water is also the so-called intersection of 2 rivers. One Yangtze River and one Jialing River. Yuan Media is a very interesting company. Chen Shen checked it online. The boss, Chu Fei, originally worked in real estate. When Japanese and Korean idols were sweeping Asia, he saw a plan for a domestic trainee project on the internet. Then I found the person who wrote the plan. After the two communicated, they hit it off and Yuan Media was born. Up to now, he has become one of the 3 giants in the Chinese idol field. With 2 major star-making brands, the TT, male idol trainee, family, and the SG, female idol trainee, family, it is the most profitable idol company in China. Xiaoqing comes from the SG family. She participated in the girl group audition of Goose Factory and then made great progress. She is considered one of the representative female artists of the SG family. There is an interlude in this story. That is Huanyu Media, where Zhou Gaikan works. In the early days of Yuan Media, it relied on the TT family to establish a niche in domestic entertainment, and then moved the company to the bank of the Jialing River. Looking across the river from Huanyu Media, you are on the other side and I am on this side. At that time, Huanyu Media was truly the number 1 in the entertainment industry in Yuzhou, and was among the top entertainment companies nationwide. Later, Several male idols born in the TT family became phenomenon-level top idols. Yuan Media took advantage of the trend and went public. After 2 years of hard work, it finally surpassed Huanyu Media in market value and became the number 1 in Chongqing. The SG family is another female idol brand created by Yuan Media after its listing, and Xiaoqing Ai is one of the first people. Huanyu and Yuan are a good story in Huayu today, or a good story about Yuan. Step by step, they went from being unknown to suppressing the Big Brother and becoming the number 1 in Yuzhou. Of course, there are differences between the two businesses. As a rising star, Yuan focuses on creating idols. Huanyu's trump card is TV drama production and artist management. It has mostly actors on hand, but the idol aspect is relatively weak. The taxi stopped at the door of Yuan Media. At this point, there were people in 2s and 3s crowded at the door, as if they were checking in or trying to block people. Walking down from the side, there is a trail along the river. On the other side, you can vaguely see a 7 or 8-story building. That building is Huanyu. What about Yuan? 2 small buildings. Rumor has it that when Chu Fei wanted to be in the entertainment industry, he was teased by his boss Huanyu, and then they got into a fight, which led to this strange scene. Are you there yet? Xiaoqing Ai sent a message. Chen Shen took a photo and sent it to Xiaoqing Ai. After a while, a tall beautiful girl in sunglasses came over with 2 camera teachers. How about it? The scenery is pretty good, right? Xiaoqing said with a smile. Chen Shen nodded. No wonder so many people on the internet come here to check in. It is indeed a nice scenery. Xiaoqing looked at the other side and snorted, let's go, I'll take you in. The 2 of them took the back door and could enter Yuan Media directly from the trail here. The riverside inside is like a small park. The most profitable idol company in the mainland is indeed rich. Many people think that we have a building for boys and a building for girls. In fact, it is not the case. We only have the top 2 floors, and the ones below are all T-shaped. Xiaoqing Ai pointed to the small building in front of him and said. Chen Shen nodded. The TT family owned by Yuan has grown to include actors, singers, and idols. It has a market value of 4 billion, and they won the majority of it. Compared with the black gold that Chen Shen stayed in before, it is more than a bit better. Maybe because of the weekend, there weren't many people in the company. I took the elevator up and finally stopped on the 6th floor. After exiting the elevator, from the left to the end, there is a practice room. Xiaoqing Ai took Chen Shen into the practice room number 1. Xiaoqing Ai chuckled and said, this is my special practice room. The floor is non-slip, and the floor-to-ceiling mirror walls on both sides make the practice room look large and transparent. Very intuitive rule. Xiaoqing nodded, don't you guys like black gold? Although there are cameras, there is no need to pretend between the 2, and their respective backgrounds are almost clear. Chen Shen shook his head, black gold is different. Their main force is Hu from South Korea, and they rely on returning idols. Otherwise, how do you think I got in? Don't belittle yourself. With your conditions, it's okay to join us. Come on, you guys are too curly. As soon as Xiaoqing sat on the ground, she suddenly sighed. Yes, the pressure is too great. Take this practice room number 1 for example, there are a lot of people staring at it. Maybe it is because she grew up under such pressure that Xiaoqing Ai can adapt to the high-intensity work at Tencent. Chen Shen also sat down, and then glanced at the cameraman not far away, do you want to take a break? Xiaoqing Ai looked at Chen Shen, not quite understanding what he meant. If you want to take a break, go and take a break, I can play by myself. Xiaoqing Ai curled her lips, don't you want to play with me? Chen Shen smiled, didn't respond, and simply supported his hands and lay on the ground. Their practice room seems to have floor heating installed, and it is warm. Hey, Didn't you do it as a trainee for 2 years? What did you learn? Singing, dancing, acting, everything. That's similar to me. Why didn't you debut? From Xiaoqing Ai's point of view, it shouldn't be like this. Chen Shen's appearance is very good. He is the most outstanding among the villas of love variety shows. And he is also self-disciplined and smart. How could Hagen Entertainment be willing to give up such a person? It's amazing. Maybe he's disobedient, who knows? Xiaoqing Ai shook her head, somewhat confused. It's not that she doesn't understand Chen Shen's answer, but that she doesn't understand Hagen Entertainment. She knew something about Chen Shen's past from her agent. So she doesn't understand even more. Is Yuan under great pressure? Very much. However, the environment is safe, and the biggest exploitation is to create benefits for the company. As long as the benefits you give are big enough, the company can support you. These trainees are the core assets of the company and are the key protected objects. This is also the reason why Xiaoqing Ai is willing to return Yuan from Tencent. But Hagen seems to be still doing the old tradition, and it is necessary for the trainees under its command to be exposed to the so-called unspoken rules. Does Chen Shen not like the entertainment industry? Xiaoqing Ai thinks it's impossible, otherwise he has left Hagen. Why would he come to the love variety show again? Or the kind with tasks? I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 77. Xiaoqing Ai suddenly reached out and pulled Chen Shen's clothes, and Chen Shen raised his eyebrows and looked over. Come, let me see what you can do. What? Dance for me? Chen Shen shook his head. No, 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 I forgot everything. Xiaoqing Ai refused, and did not avoid it. She directly grabbed Chen Shen's hand, and then pulled. Come on, I'll dance with you. Chen Shen was like the hands on a clock, and was pulled for half a circle. I really can't dance. Then you dance with me. Okay, okay, I can dance. In front of the mirror, Chen Shen began to stretch his muscles. Xiaoqing Ai turned on the equipment, and the light from the projection hit the dark wall on the right. 5 girls appeared in the projection, the music sounded, and the girls began to move. Chen Shen nodded along with the music, and his hands unconsciously began to grasp the movements. Xiaoqing Ai had a smile on his face, and he said he couldn't dance. If you really like it, you can't help it. Chen Shen was dressed casually today. Just by watching him grab the movements, the rhythm came out. After playing it once, Chen Shen looked at Xiaoqing Ai, and he himself felt incredible. In the 2 years at Black Gold, this body seemed to have really learned something. How does it feel? Xiaoqing Ai asked. The breath is well left, it should be a very textured song. Xiaoqing Ai was surprised. You can hear this? I'm asking you how these movements feel, can you keep up? Can you dance it yourself and let me see? Xiaoqing nodded, took the remote control and pressed it, and then threw it to Chen Shen. As soon as the music sounded, Xiaoqing Ai's temperament changed. Not to mention the movements, it seemed that even the hair and clothes were in her rhythm. Occasionally, a look at Chen Shen was completely different from usual. The pants were originally high-waisted, and after the movements, the curves became more obvious, especially the hips, which had both strength and softness. Chen Shen looked away. Xiaoqing Ai laughed out loud, her hair was thrown to her chest with the movement, she reached out her hand and wiped it, the freshness of a girl and the vitality of youth intertwined, looking around with a spirit. Let alone Chen Shen, Xiaoqing Ai herself seemed a little embarrassed. It was her first time to dance like this alone in front of a boy. It was not embarrassing, but she felt a little silly. Come here. Chen Shen stepped back. Come here. Chen Shen walked over. Stand next to me and look in the mirror. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Don't shake your butt, use your waist, the core of this movement is the waist. 10 minutes later, Chen Shen couldn't stand it anymore, so he retreated to the wall and said he would not dance anymore. Xia King I was so happy, ha ha ha, I didn't expect it to be so beautiful. The boy danced with both strength and softness, which was very touching. Chen Shen curled his lips, practice by yourself, I won't come. Come on, come on. It's no use begging me. Humph, just dance by yourself. Xia King I really practiced by herself, the expression on her face disappeared, and her eyes were full of herself in the mirror. Chen Shen leaned against the wall and watched the daily life of the female idol. The domestic entertainment in this world is more prosperous and, relatively speaking, more professional. If this level was in the world of my previous self, it would probably be a unique existence. At least in Chen Shen's impression, there are not many female idols in the domestic entertainment industry who have this feeling. Which one do you think looks better, changing the circle to the left and then to the right? Chen Shen closed his eyes and recalled the rhythm of the music. The one after the change looks better, just stepped on the bass point. Xia King I glared, can it be judged by spatial imagination? Picking up the remote control, Xia King I tried it again with the music in a small arc. It seems to be a little bit off in terms of coherence. If you follow the beginning, although it is coherent, it is complicated. The audience is watching you, not how complicated the dance is, but how entertaining your movements are. If it is a group, you can turn around and change positions once. For individuals, it will be more comfortable to watch if you reduce it a little. Of course, this is just my personal feeling. Xia King I thought for a while, I want to study it. Chen Shen actually doesn't know much about dancing, and mostly relies on his physical instincts, but he knows music and can imagine spaces that are coherent with music. Xia King I's dance must be a song. If it is simplified, it will be more in line with the song, making the work more complete. If the stage shooting is professional, it is appropriate to cut a close-up shot of the upper body. The graininess of the bass and Xia King I's appearance will make the texture full. This research took more than an hour. When Xia King I came back to his senses, he immediately patted his head and ran towards Chen Shen. Chen Shen acted so relaxed that Xia King I was also relaxed and forgot the existence of the cameraman. I'm so tired, I won't dance anymore, Xia King I pouted. Chen Shen encouraged, it's beautiful. Xia King I was stunned, thank you. What are you thanking me for? The last glory of the girl group is well deserved. What are you thanking me for? Xia King I felt that Chen Shen must have understood. For Xia King I, the story of the love variety show is a career. Integrate your own advantages together and tell everyone that Xia King I, who came from a girl group, can still dance. Then release an album. This is Xia King I's way of thanking Chen Shen. Chen Shen saw it, not only did he not resist, but also integrated into it. Come on, I'll take you somewhere. On the roof, the door was pushed open, Xia King I and Chen Shen walked out, each holding a bottle of water. At 10:30, the sun was hanging high in the sky. It was not a sunny day, with white clouds in the east and west. With the sun, the colors are rich. Is there no sound of cars? Xia King I asked Chen Shen. Chen Shen nodded, I heard the sound of water. When I'm stressed, I like to stay here. Chen Shen retracted his gaze to the distance, are you confident? Xia King I looked at Chen Shen and said unhappily, we are competitors, don't act like you know me very well. You're thinking wrong, I'm talking about your career. What do you think? Do you think I have confidence? Yes. Xia King I brushed away the hair that was blown to her face by the wind, and her facial features seemed to be carefully carved by the creator. After leaving Tencent for a year, the outside world is not so kind to traffic-oriented artists like Xia King I. If you try to become an actor, the step is too small, and you will be demoted passively. What if you take a bigger step? Directly take the project of the heroine? The internal strength is not enough. Only a company with a lot of money like Yuan dares to let Xia King Ai calm down and practice. If you change to any other company, Xia King Ai will let Xia King Ai push forward, even if he is scolded. Either you can get through it, or you will be beaten on the beach by the newcomers. Going forward is brave, and going back is also brave. In Xia King Ai's eyes, Chen Shen is the same as herself. Leaving Heijin Entertainment is also going back. Do you think there is a way to have both? Xia King Ai looked at Chen Shen. The two looked at each other, as if they were judging whether there was sincerity on each other's face. The way to have both is naturally to end the love variety show. Whether Xia King Ai wins, Chen Shen also wins. Xia King Ai looked at Chen Shen with sparkling eyes, wanting to see if Chen Shen's answer was sincere. Chen Shen met Xia King Ai's gaze, wanting to see if what Xia King Ai said was sincere. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 78. Time seemed to slow down. The warm sun, the wind blowing over the Jialing River, the sound of water and the faint body fragrance. All senses were clear. Facing Xia King Ai's question, Chen Shen shook his head, no. Xia King Ai also shook his head, yes. Then they both laughed, and Xia King Ai snorted, if I say yes, then yes. Chen Shen believed that what she said was true, and the position was what Xia King Ai said to a junior who had not debuted. She didn't want to lose, and she didn't want Chen Shen to lose. Chen Shen sighed and thought, Xia King Ai, you think too simply. Okay, if you say yes, then yes. Chen Shen shrugged, and he recalled the first time he saw Xia King Ai. At that time, Chen Shen felt that if Xia King Ai interfered with him, he would have to lead her into his own rhythm. What about now? Xia King Ai seemed to want to lead him into her rhythm. Xia King Ai heard Chen Shen sigh, but it didn't matter. Since Chen Shen was willing to date her, Xia King Ai felt that she had found a win-win road. It was just that this road depended on whether Chen Shen was willing to take it. I wish I had known you earlier, Xia King Ai said softly. Why? I can definitely be your mentor. Chen Shen did not reply to Xia King Ai, but turned his head to look at the opposite side. Xia King Ai also turned his head to look at the opposite side, stood next to Chen Shen, and then leaned towards Chen Shen and gently bumped into Chen Shen, I admire you. Chen Shen still did not reply. Xia King Ai bumped into him again, I tell you, if I come in on the same day as you, you will be left alone, believe it or not. Chen Shen rolled his eyes and still did not reply. Xia King Ai bumped into him again, you don't agree? Why do you think the production team asked me to come in the second batch? It's to limit my performance. Chen Shen couldn't help it, and curled his lips and said, you are a big star, beautiful, and you come on the first day. Just let the director count you as the winner. Xia King Ai laughed, so, you also think I am beautiful? After saying that, he bumped into Chen Shen again, then what are you pretending on the first day? You want to look at me with your nose. Two camera teachers squatted against the wall behind him. The younger one couldn't help but smile. The older one also bumped into him, no wonder you were asked to shoot, you're willing to eat anything, are you going to die? Brother, don't you think this picture is very harmonious? Under the city skyline, the ambitious female idol and the little wolf dog all think they have caught this autumn. Shut up, I'm going to vomit, why don't you transfer you to post-production editing? You don't understand, this is the joy of filming, watching the fate of others, appreciating the fate of others, and blessing the fate of others. Don't be pretentious, let's bet 500 yuan, do you think Chen Shen will win or Xia King Ai will win? The young photographer thought for a long time, Xia King Ai will win. The older photographer looked up and glanced over there. From the perspective of their bystanders, Xiaoqing Ai's offensive is difficult to resist. Choose one of the four. Happiness. Will Chen Shen have the heart to let Xiaoqing Ai down? If the others lose, they lose. Xiaoqing Ai's loss is equivalent to the recovery after sedimentation, and Chen Shen pressed it back with one hand. Not only did he lose people, but he also cut his career. Su Yuan's retreat is just that she thinks she is retreating. Xiaoqing Ai's coming to Chen Shen is the real retreat in the eyes of the entire program team. I give you my fate, are you willing to ruin my fate with your own hands? The clouds change, the wind blows silently, the handsome man and the beautiful woman. The old cameraman sighed faintly. Forget it, don't gamble, it's not easy. At some point, Xiaoqing Ai's head leaned on Chen Shen's shoulder, and she exhaled a long breath. Let me lean on it and experience what it feels like. Chen Shen stretched out his hand, pressed Xiaoqing Ai's head with two fingers, and then stepped aside. Don't write a script randomly. Xiaoqing Ai looked at Chen Shen with a resentful look. Chen Shen turned around, and the two camera teachers who raised their heads immediately began to look around, looking at this and that. Xiaoqing Ai was angry again. She felt that she always liked to get angry when she was with Chen Shen. I said it could be a win-win situation, and I took action. Wouldn't it be good to let me stick to you, and then leave the show hand in hand? 1 million is more important than me, Xiaoqing Ai, and 3 women fighting for you at the same time. This kind of gimmick is not more important to you, Chen Shen, than 1 million? You win, I win too. Is there a better ending than this? This Chen guy is really rebellious. Don't look at me, look at Zhang. Xiaoqing Ai leaned over. Just look at you. Don't be so rebellious, the scenery is so beautiful. Xiaoqing Ai glared. Am I still rebellious? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got, as if I was back in the villa of the Love Variety show, and I kicked Chen Shen's calf with a snap. Hiss. Chen Shen took several steps back, bent down, and rubbed the place where he was kicked. It's true that she looks good, but she has a bad temper. She is worthy of being our Sichuan and Chongqing girl. Xiaoqing Ai originally wanted to go over to take a look, but was afraid that she didn't step lightly. When she heard Chen Shen say this, she got angry again and really turned her head to look at Zhang. Stinky man, even dogs don't look at him. Chen Shen understood Xiaoqing Ai, a careerist who only knew how to rush forward. Seeing Xiaoqing Ai looking at Jialing River angrily, Chen Shen approached and said with a chuckle, if it was someone else, would you do the same? Pa! Another kick landed on the same spot, and Chen Shen squatted on the ground. Good fellow, good, 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 it's my bad luck. Xiaoqing Ai also looked back at the two cameramen, and the two cameramen looked at each other, at a loss. Xiaoqing Ai felt that all the atmosphere was gone, and it was ruined by the man named Chen. How can anyone else do this? Why don't you just die? How much mental preparation and psychological construction have I done these days to be able to do this with you, and think about yourself in that way? Really, love and other things, dogs don't even talk about it. I don't want to date you anymore. Chen Shen stood up, then I'll leave. You. Xiaoqing Ai's chest rose and fell in anger, and then she turned her back, and soon, her shoulders began to shake. The pressure was already high, and it wasn't very smooth to come to the Love Variety show. Although it was a retreat to advance, she completely took Chen Shen into consideration. She also planned to sacrifice the female idol's shelf, but she was treated like this. Work was delayed on Friday, people were asked to work overtime yesterday, and several teachers were late. Under the accumulation of all these things, Xiaoqing Ai began to sob unconsciously. Chen Shen stood silently beside Xiaoqing Ai, without saying a word. Behind them, the two photography teachers raised their heads again. Brother, Chen Shen seems to have made Xiaoqing Ai cry. It seems so. This Chen guy is really a ruthless person. Just then, the director's voice came from the headset worn by the photographer. What's the situation upstairs now? Why haven't they come down yet? The old photography teacher pressed the headset, and then whispered back, we don't know either, director, ask the sound recording team. Zhao Chunsheng, where is the sound recording team? Pay attention, these two are not easy to deal with, especially the Chen guy, who fooled Xiaobai. I'm afraid that the two of them will unite to mess with our program team. The sound recording team, director, we are listening. We don't know if they are united or not. Xia Qing'ai seems to be crying. Zhao Chunsheng, what? The young photographer, she did cry, her shoulders were shaking. Zhao Chunsheng, damn, beast. It's okay, let's get back to work. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 79. Chen Shen did not try to comfort Xia Qing'ai right away. It was good to cry at this time to relieve the pressure. Sure enough, after a few minutes, Xia Qing'ai calmed down by herself. At this time, Chen Shen said, I'll leave you a way out. Xia Qing'ai frowned, didn't understand, but didn't want to pay attention to Chen Shen. Chen Shen handed over a few tissues, Xia Qing'ai turned her head to the side and didn't take them. I haven't cried for a long time, and he didn't even comfort me, what a scumbag. Xia Qing'ai saw the photography teacher from the corner of his eyes, and then he took the paper that Chen Shen handed over, and his image was still important. When wiping the corner of his eyes, Xia Qing'ai was suddenly stunned. I cried under the camera, yes, is this what Chen Shen said about leaving myself a way out? Pulling the timeline back, is there a way to have both? Xia Qing'ai's answer is yes, Chen Shen's answer is no. Xia Qing'ai thinks she is sincere, what if Chen Shen is also sincere? Chen Shen made me cry in the love show. How will the program team exaggerate it? What will the audience think from their perspective? What do you want to do? Xia Qing'ai unconsciously leaned towards Chen Shen. Chen Shen smiled and said, don't guess. Xia Qing'ai can fall in love, but she can't be with a scumbag. It will hurt your base. Do you understand? Xia Qing'ai is a smart girl, but she is too ambitious and blinded by one thing. Chen Shen nodded, and she figured it out after thinking about it. If she really follows her own plan, it seems that she will not win from multiple angles. If the audience is interested in or likes other guests, from the audience's perspective, she and Chen Shen will lose hand in hand. After the bitch hurts others, she is sweet and happy, right? So Chen Shen said that there is no way to have both. If we follow Chen Shen's logic, from the audience's perspective, there must be one loser. It is impossible for no one to be scolded for such a show. Either it is me, Xia Qing'ai, or it is him, Chen Shen. Combined with the scene of me crying just now, as long as the program team exaggerates a little, the loser can only be Chen Shen. Xia Qing frowned, maybe she was sensitive at this moment, her nose was sour. After feeling wronged, she blamed the other party, but found that the other party was considering her at a higher level, and she felt warm and guilty unconsciously. Who wants you to do this? You make your own decisions, Xia Qing said in a delicate voice, and then, for some reason, Xia Qing laughed again. Behind her, the two photographers were confused and looked at each other. Did Xia Qing laugh? She was crying just now, why did she laugh now? A voice suddenly rang out from the headset, this bastard surnamed Chen. Zhao Chunsheng, ahem, whose microphone is not turned off. What's wrong? The sound recording team, ahem. It's okay, director, I mean Chen the dog, no, I'm just complaining about Chen Shen, daring to make my goddess cry. Zhao Chun Sheng, be professional. Although this is my first time doing a love variety show, you are all veterans of other love variety shows. What scenes have you not seen? Cameraman, director, I really haven't seen this. Chen Shen looked at the river in front of him. When the river became bigger, he couldn't see the direction of the flow. It seemed to be to the left, and it seemed to be to the right. Only the direction of the wind blowing the waves was clearly visible. He felt that women were a little bad. I was obviously pulling you for career, but you thought I was pulling you for feelings. Just like Xia King Ai at this moment, her eyes were watery and her face was flushed. Chen Shen felt that he didn't worry about having too many debts. Xia King Ai was willing to give him a card, so he would return the favor and give her a card. He was afraid of being scolded. Let alone Xia King Ai, after the show is broadcast, who among the current guests and the audience who likes them will not scold me? Chen Shen still has the self-awareness. Chen Shen also left a way out for himself. Xia King Ai came to make a comeback to create popularity together, and Su Mo came to make a comeback because she was afraid that I would suffer a loss. Anyway, it has already started, so let's make a comeback. Xia King Ai thought Chen Shen was a dog man and a stinky man a second ago, but now Chen Shen is really good. But she is not very worried. Because the show is comprehensive, the previous part may not be deliberately exaggerated. Both she and Chen Shen are taking money from the program group. Chen Shen is talking about a way out, which is to guarantee himself. It is equivalent to telling himself clearly that if the trend of the show is not favorable to him, the company will negotiate with the program group and exaggerate the previous part. Xia King Ai feels that it should not reach this level. I wish I had known you earlier. Xia King Ai said this again. Chen Shen did not reply to her again. However, Xia King Ai was not angry. Why don't you ask me why? Why? Xia King Ai, he, then you are in trouble. Chen Shen, dot. The cafeteria is on the second floor. Xia King Ai took Chen Shen into the elevator. The second floor is very large, with the cafeteria on the left, divided into areas. From sea to a level, the seats are different. The higher the level, the more exquisite. Although it is the weekend, there are not a few people eating. At a glance, they are all handsome men and beautiful women, full of vitality. Saturday weekends are not a time for rest for trainees. When they meet someone, the other party will stop and call King Ai sister formally. Xia King Ai smiled and nodded, and took Chen Shen to another area, the box. This is a place where only artists who debuted in Yuan Media can go. The two sat down and changed the shooting position to a fixed position. Ordering dishes was done on a tablet computer. Xia King Ai swiped around for a while. I ordered everything I thought was delicious, and I think you would like it. The guest should follow the host's wishes. Xia King Ai glared at Chen Shen. I think you might have prepared for a rainy day. We have a mission, and it should be made public at the beginning. It's not a lie, Xia King Ai reminded. Chen Shen smiled and said, is that why we can talk so freely? Xia King Ai and Chen Shen looked at each other, and they understood each other. To put it bluntly, although it was said that the identity of the so-called werewolf would be made public at the beginning, I was still a little scared. What if they didn't make it public until the middle? If I talked to Chen Shen about this, I had to make it public. Otherwise, the date between the two of them couldn't be edited at all, and it was all prohibited content. Xia King Ai ordered stir-fried dishes, stews, desserts, and drinks, but she ate very little herself. Most of the time she watched Chen Shen eat. The company's food was delicious, but the time spent in the company was mostly preparation time. I had to control my figure, and I wanted to eat but didn't dare to eat. Did you really order all for me? Chen Shen complained. Are you eating? I saw you eating so deliciously, so I almost ate. Are you sure you want to return to being a singer and dancer? Xiaoqing I pouted, why do you mention this? My good mood is gone. After returning to the company for a year, Xiaoqing I has not created any profit for the company. He has to release his new album. Rather than saying that he wants to tell everyone that Xiaoqing I can still dance through the dating variety show, it is better to say that it is a helpless choice under passive circumstances. Xiaoqing I looked at Chen Shen with a sparkling look, you know me so well? You have put so much effort? No wonder you asked me if I wanted to rest this morning. Chen Shen smiled and did not refute. He did check Xiaoqing I's information. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 80. Chen Shen systematically saw Xiaoqing I's growth environment. Everything is telling you that if you don't work hard, you will be eliminated, and you will be treated according to your level. As strong as Xiaoqing I, he will still be in chaos when he comes back. Otherwise, we would not adopt the new album plus love variety play style, singing, dancing and acting with both hands. Normally, when I look at Xiaoqing I, he is full of energy and energy. However, just let her sit quietly for 3 minutes and she will immediately fall asleep. Such as now. Originally I was just taking a break to read a book after dinner, so I went to the leisure area on the right. As soon as Chen Shen opened a book, Xiaoqing I fell asleep lying next to him. Chen Shen felt that Xiaoqing I looked at her best when she was asleep. Quiet and delicate, like the porcelain doll in its prime. It is indeed difficult for such a girl to have the intention of harming her. When Xiaoqing woke up, Chen Shen fell asleep again, and what he noticed was Chen Shen's short hair. It took Xiaoqing I a long time to wake up completely. The first thought that came to his mind was, what would Chen Shen look like if he grew his hair long? He stood up, walked to the other side of Chen Shen, and sat down. Otherwise, it's unfair. I'm sleeping on my stomach facing you, and you can see it even if I'm drooling. Why do you only show me the back of your head while you're sleeping? Facts have proved that Chen Shen was not drooling. Fresh facial features, even breathing, and skin in excellent condition. Xiaoqing thought, had Chen Shen observed him so carefully just now? Picking up the book Chen Shen was reading, it turned out to be Yuan's internal magazine, which was similar to the company's growth history. What time is it? The sudden voice startled Xiaoqing I, and she looked at her phone, early 2 o'clock. Chen Shen groaned and closed his eyes again. Don't sleep, let's go to the river to play. From the backyard of Yuan Media, you can indeed go down to the river directly along the stone staircase road. There is not much rain in late autumn, so the river bed is exposed, and there is a large area of sand and gravel along the river. Chen Shen probably didn't recover from his nap, so he was breathing heavily all the way. Xiaoqing was in a good mood, trotted to the water's edge, and then waved to Chen Shen. Chen Shen walked over and looked at it from above. He felt that the water surface seemed quite calm. When he actually stood in front of it, the waves made a splashing sound. When Chen Shen arrived in front of Xiaoqing I, she said nothing. Chen Shen didn't ask any questions, just stared at the river in a daze. Xiaoqing I's head was also empty. She thought it was the sequelae of taking a nap. To be honest, she enjoyed playing with Chen Shen. Although I also played with Fang last time, Fang also had a more deliberate way of getting along. For example, if Fang yet is next to you now, he will definitely find an angle to speak or take action. Xiaoqing felt that many boys might have this problem. They felt that it was their responsibility to heat up the scene when it was quiet. Life is not a variety show. If you leave it blank, it will be more comfortable. You go left and I go right, okay. Xiaoqing I suddenly looked at Chen Shen. Chen Shen was stunned for a moment, then turned around and ran away. Xiaoqing burst out laughing, turned around and ran to the other side. Behind them, the two photography teachers carrying the machine were confused, and they could only move one to the left and the other to the right. Chen Shen instantly understood what Xia King Ai meant. This program makes people worry and worry about it? Why should it make them feel comfortable? Chen Shen ran for a while and then bent down and pretended to tie his shoelaces, for fear that the camera teacher would not be able to keep up. Indeed, the camera teacher began to pant after a while, carrying the equipment on the uneven river bed, for fear of dropping the equipment, so he was careful. How about taking a long shot? But why is that bitch Chen Shen bending over? No, I still have to record it and follow it again. After running a long way, the old cameraman couldn't keep up. He sat on a big rock, panting heavily and sweating all over his head. He thought that he would not follow him until he died, so he just took pictures from afar. However, Chen Shen turned around and ran back again. It's okay not to follow. What if they go somewhere else? I had no choice but to carry the machine and run back. Xia King Ai was also running back. Maybe he saw the embarrassed cameraman behind Chen Shen, and he laughed like a silver bell. A long way away, Xia King Ai reached out to give Chen Shen a high five. Snapped. The uncle who followed you was not smart at all. He was old and didn't know how to run away from me. He was beaten by the younger brother. Xia King Ai was still happy. Chen Shen was more ruthless and could run at least 2 distances away from Xia King Ai. Chen Shen was also panting a little. Phew, I finally woke up from my nap. The two found a stone and sat down next to each other. Behind him, the 2 camera teachers were still breathing heavily. Director, are you there? Director, I feel like they really want to set up a program team. The old cameraman pressed the device on his ear. Zhao Chunsheng, I was in the car above, and I saw it. We forced 2 wolves to go on a date together. It's normal to be a little resentful. Please be considerate and take pictures carefully. These are excellent materials. Zhao Chunsheng responded with a long sigh from the camera. Humans are a strange animal. One moment they are happily amusing the photographer, and the next moment they become sad. Xia King Ai was thinking about Chen Shen's words in the morning. Overtly and covertly, Chen Shen revealed one intention, as if he would not leave the scene holding hands with him. If this is the case, then today may be the last time the 2 of them are alone together. Chen Shen said at this moment that you, Xia King Ai, can have a relationship, but you can't have a relationship with a scumbag, which will shake his base. Not only out of consideration for his fans, but also telling himself that if he wants to win in public, don't put your energy on him. Even if you want to hold hands, you can't find Chen Shen. After you come and I go, Chen Shen not only gave me the right to choose, but also prepared a way out for himself. Xia King Ai sighed and said inexplicably, you are not a scumbag. Chen Shen looked at Xia King Ai, what? Xia King Ai turned his head away, it's okay, I praise you for being handsome. Chen Shen nodded seriously, knowing pearls with wisdom. Xia King Ai handed a thin stone to Chen Shen, will it skip on the water? Chen Shen took it, little prince of skipping. Okay, if you can bounce on the water twice, I will give you a reward. Chen Shen frowned, and then with a snap, the stone was thrown into the river by Chen Shen. Xia King Ai seemed to have expected it, and whispered, really bad, but the reward has become a consolation. After saying that, Chen Shen felt a fragrant breeze blowing, and something soft touched his cheek. Xia King Ai's cheeks flushed, and she stood up and ran away. On a flat ground above, the door of a black equipment vehicle was suddenly pushed open. Zhao Chunsheng got out of the car and looked at the riverbed below. In the headphones, the radio group was still shouting, did they kiss? Did they kiss? Young photographer, don't ask, I feel uncomfortable. Old cameraman, director, can someone else follow tomorrow? I just followed him and Mian yesterday. I'm too old to stand this. Young photographer, young people can't do it. I want to kill him.